Riot doesn't want you to know about this champion because it's supposed to be played as a support, but is actually the best mid lane champ in the entire game right now, sitting at a 53% win rate. Morgana mid lane has started being picked by a ton of high elo and pro players in solo queue, as we've got Pobelter spamming it, Caps and Nemesis have pulled it out, and we've even got the legend himself, Faker, picking it up. Nemesis just played Morgana mid in a Los Ratones scrim, and let's just say it went pretty well. So if you want some free elo before Riot goes ahead and nerfs the champ, then this video is going to show you exactly how to get it, as we'll be breaking down clips from Nemesis and Pobelter's streams and showing you exactly how to carry on Morgana mid like the pros. The secret strategy that most Morgana mid lane players don't know about that makes her even more OP is her 2 points in W power spike. Firstly though, if you're confused as to why Morgana mid is suddenly so powerful, it's because she's been buffed 3 different times this season. In 25.9, she got an R and E buff, and then in 25.16, her W damage was buffed, while in 25.17, W damage was buffed a second time. Some players may think that you need 3 points in W to begin one-shotting the ranged minions with a single W usage, but it actually is only 2 points. So we went into Practice Tool and ran a bunch of tests, and what we found was that as long as you have a Doran's Ring and an Amp Tome, then you will be able to one-shot the ranged minions with a single W, even with only 2 points in the spell. Very important to note though, is that you need an Amp Tome and not a Dark Seal. We tested with Dark Seal, and as you can see here, the minions end up living on just 8 health, so you need that additional 5 AP that you get from Amp Tome to fully execute the ranged minions. So in knowing all this, how should you be looking to execute the early game with Morgana? Well, your first objective is to reach that 400 gold so that you can purchase the Amp Tome. From farming, as long as you're hitting 15 minions on the first 3 waves, you will have 400 gold. Since there are 18 minions on the first 3 waves, you can only afford to miss 3 or at the very max 4. As we can see in this clip, we were able to get 15 CS in the first 3 waves, but after channeling recall and basing, we had 420 gold once in Fountain. And since a melee minion is worth 21 gold, and a ranged minion 14 gold, this means you can afford to miss 4 and still be able to buy your Amp Tome. It's not only important to hit this 400 gold on the first 3 waves due to the fact it's the amount of gold that you need for the Amp Tome, but it's also the wave prior to a cannon wave. If you can reset after shoving in that 3rd wave and then TP back to lane, you won't miss any farm and will get a super early power spike. What if you miss more than 3 or 4 minions on the first 3 waves though and can't get a good recall timer to buy an Amp Tome? Is Morg mid just bad? Most definitely not. If you can't get an early base off, then you'll just need to wait to level 5 to where you get 3 points in W to begin one-shotting the ranged minions. So this insane shoving power is what makes Morgana mid lane so broken, and we can see in this clip from Pobelter how he's got a lost chapter already due to picking up some early kills, so with just 2 points in W, he's able to one-shot the ranged minions, and really key to note is that when he's using W on the wave, he's standing to the side of his own wave. You never want to stand in your own wave when shoving with Morg because you want to force the enemy into either hitting you or the wave and not both. If they decide to hit you like this Syndra does here, then you're just going to end up getting the push. And if they hit the wave, then you'll just end up trading farm. Because Syndra hit Pobelter and not the wave, he's able to shove the wave in under Syndra's tower and then go place some vision down for his team. Using your lane priority like this is really important to unlocking Morgana early on in the game because she's not really going to threaten a ton for solo kills in ranged matchups. It's more so what she's able to accomplish with her perma-lane priority that makes her so strong. Another really underrated reason to why Morgana mid is so powerful is that she can literally solo Grubs without needing her jungler. Since Morgana W cooldown refreshes super fast when it's hitting the Grubs, you just spam it out and barely take any damage either because of the healing from Morgana passive. So as long as your top laner has priority and you're not in risk of getting collapsed on, then you can look to solo Grubs all by yourself. Just make sure you get mid-wave pushed in first and toss a ward down in the river entrance so you can see if the enemies are coming to contest you. So depending on your lane matchup, it's going to dictate how you're looking to use W early on. If you're against a ranged mid like Syndra, Xerath, Victor, or Orianna, then just using W on the wave to generate push will be how you're looking to use it most of the time. In melee matchups though, you don't want to mindlessly spam W on the wave and more so look to use it for poke as well. With Comet and Scorch in runes and with Morg W dealing more upfront damage after its recent buffs, the poke potential of W, even if it only ticks on the enemy a few times, is way better than before. Our challenger mid laner Shori did a good job at executing this when up against Katarina in his recent full game commentary that he's got on our website. At level 1, Shori throws W on the wave to generate push. Then, when the wave crashes under tower, he looks to use W when Katarina walks up for farm to guarantee that he gets a few ticks of damage off. So this is a good game plan against melee mids for the first 2 levels, and a great way to get some poke off while also trying to deny the enemy some minions under tower. So laning with Morgana mid is very simple for the most part. It's hard for most champions to contest her push because of the long range on W, value, and as long as you play a bit safer if your Q and E are down, the enemy will have a very hard time punishing your shove. If we look at this clip here from Pobelter where he's playing Morgana into Aurelia, we can see that as long as he has either his E or Q available, then Aurelia really isn't a threat at all. Aurelia tries to go in once, and Pobelter just walks away and spell shields her stun. She then tries to dive in a second time, and it's super easy to just line up Morg Q for disengage if a melee champ dives right into you. Morgana is just so difficult to punish while being very easy to execute at the same time, which makes her a phenomenal solo Q pick, especially if you're playing Morgana into melee matchups like Sylas, Akali, Aurelia, Yone, or Diana, where they have to be in melee range to be effective. Morgana can deal with them super easily while most other mages have a more difficult time. A few AD mid laners are the only champs giving Morgana some issues in solo queue, as Zed and Ukshin in specific are two of them. The Zed matchup is one that's worth banning out due to his high play rate. Not only is Morg's Black Shield not valuable against Zed, but her R is also quite weak as well. Morgana likes playing into champs who jump into melee range and then can't immediately dash away so that her R route can hit, but with Zed, he can dive in and out and burst you before your R can even CC him. You also don't want to have to invest into a second item Zanya's while playing Morgana mid, because you want to stack ability haste in your build, which we will go into detail later on, so taking Zed out of the equation is a good idea. When you hit your level 6, that's when you want to be looking to hard shove and play off your jungle or support. When skirmishing with Morg, you always want to try and wait for your teammate to land their CC first if it's a more guaranteed spell. So in this clip here, Nemesis and Reckless catch out the Annie, and instead of throwing out Q immediately, Nemesis makes sure to hold the spell until the Alistar combo lands, because the Ally combo is guaranteed and will give Morg the free follow-up. Teamfighting in tight corridors is where Morgana is really going to excel, and it's a big reason to why she's so strong for this season. If fighting around Otacon or Dragon Pit, the amount of value that you can get with your W and R is incredible. In this clip here, the entire enemy team is just sitting in the Dragon Pit, so Pobelter flashes in and secures a 3-man R and wipes the enemy team. In this next clip, it's a 3v4 with Xayah and Alistar dead, but if the enemy team is bunched up around Otacon, then that's where Morgana can shine. The flash R combo is super easy to execute, and Nemesis uses it to secure the kill on Aphelios and then cleans up the Annie and Thresh thereafter. In this team fight, just look at the value of Morgana's W when the enemy team is grouped in the Dragon Pit. W ends up ticking on multiple enemies, and with the Rylai's slow proccing, it's acting as a nice zone tool as well. And in this clip, this is where the value of buying a Seeker's Arm Guard and just sitting on it in the mid game comes in handy. You want melee champs to dive onto you because you can press R and then activate your stasis so they cannot hit you while your R route goes off. And once again, the Morg W value is incredible when the enemy team is forced into a tight space like this. Players just aren't used to playing against a Morgana whose W actually deals significant damage, so this makes her W even more insane, as they'll completely disregard the damage potential and just sit in it during a fight. Achieving high CS scores and instantly gaining priority on side lane is really easy to do with Morgana mid. One W is going to clear out an entire wave when you have 2 items, and with your Q and Black Shield, it's pretty safe for Morgana to step up and contest side waves, even if there's an enemy fighter there. So shoving out sides and then looking to rotate towards mid and find catch plays with your Q from the Fog of War is how you'll look to execute Morgana in the mid game. Almost everyone is building their Morgana mid lane wrong. Blackfire Torch is the standard rush item, but it's the second item that many players are messing up on. Liandry's is the most popular, however, Horizon Focus is so much more powerful. Ability Haste is such a broken stat to have in Morgana because it's not so much about the amount of damage you can deal with a full combo as it is about how often you can threaten with Qs and spam out W. More uptime on Q in fights is well worth the trade-off of a bit less damage. Nemesis and our challenger mid laner Hector have been liking the Horizon Focus purchase, and it's even outperforming Liandry's analytically. Third item Zanya's is generally going to be the way to go unless the enemy team has a very rangy comp, in which case the stasis from Zanya's won't be that effective if enemies won't be diving onto you. And then Rabadon's, Liandry's, Rylai's, Bloodletter's Curse, and Crypt Bloom are all situationally viable later game pickups for Morgana. A lot of players are messing up their rune page right now, as the majority are taking domination secondaries, while precision or inspiration is so much better. There's not a single pro Morgana player who's going domination secondary, however, 50% of solo queue Morganas are. Precision secondary, running haste with cut down, is what the majority of pros are taking right now. Pobelter has been going for triple tonic and cosmic insight, which actually makes a lot of sense, because the summoner spell haste that cosmic insight provides is really nice to have on Morgana. Both pages are completely viable, so you can try them out, and and see if you prefer one or the other. Of course, Comet is the best keystone for Morg, and in combination with Scorch, provides you with some nice poke power in lane from W. For your rune shards, make sure that you are going double adaptive. Some mid lane mages like to take attack speed, but you need that double adaptive on Morgana in order to abuse the 2 points in W strategy that we showed you guys at the start of the video. Scaling health and flat health are both viable, it just depends on your matchup. If you're against a less volatile lane, up against a Malzahar, Twisted Fate, Vladimir, or Galio, to where you're in no danger of being killed early on, then just go scaling health. Into most melee mids, where you really want to be able to exert as much dominance as possible, or into pokey ranged champs, going flat health is the better option. Skill order is actually quite interesting right now, because what we are seeing Faker and Showmaker do on their Morgana is go 4 points into W and then max Q. The logic behind this is that once you have 4 points in W, it provides plenty of wave clear, so putting an extra point into Q sooner so that you can get the longer stun duration for mid-game teamfighting will work great. You can even get away with 3 points into W and then max Q, but very few players are actually doing this. Alright guys, one last thing, our rank up guarantee is insane. It's like signing up for the gym and getting a refund if you don't get ripped. That's how confident we are in skill cap. We obsess over making the best guides with top players, rigorous testing, and top tier video editing to make your climb easy. If you're ready to level up, visit skillcap.com and see the difference. So there you have it everyone, that's everything you need to know to abuse the most broken mid lane champion in the game. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.